All right, let's head over to Brian. Brian is with Wheel Pros, one of the largest companies that we've been dealing with lately, with more brands than I can even count. Brian was telling me that a lot of what Wheel Pros needs to do, or what racers need to do, and what he's looking for is to create demand, to create consumer demand. How can we create demand? How can a racer create demand on behalf of a brand like Wheel Pros? And then I also want to, Tony, I'm going to hand it over to you after this, but I wanted to make the connection, since Chris had mentioned the Dirt Life Show and George Hamill. I know Wheel Pros also sponsors the Dirt Life Show. So how does the Dirt Life Show help Wheel Pros?
Yeah, so Alex, I mean, a few things, just to touch on your first point, like with creating demand, just to give you a little background on the wheel industry. We, according to 3 different surveys we've done over the last few years, 3% of the car park, cars on the road that are 20 years or newer, 3% of them have custom wheels.
Wow.
And so we're more focused on raising that 1% or 0.5% than we are going and taking away business from our competitors, right? If we can grow the market, if we can introduce more people to the idea of putting custom wheels on their vehicle, it helps the tire guys, they sell more tires, it helps the entire industry. And so like when we're looking at racers, honestly, I'm more concerned about what the racer is doing off the track than on the track. Yes, podiums are important. They're important to your own brand and growing your own brand and being successful. But what brands like ours are looking for is really what you're doing off of the track. How are you cultivating a lifestyle? How are you, being a good role model? How are you doing all these things that really attracts people to a brand? And then once you are to your own brand, and then once you have that attention, now be authentic. Talk about products that support you. Talk about businesses that support you, but not like a paid promo. I've heard on this call a lot about energy drinks and stuff so far. I think, a lot of people see through that now. They see a Monster can, but they know there's water in there or something. So, I mean, you've got to figure out how to talk about brands, talk about the products that you support you, and be passionate about it and be authentic. And then that kind of helps, right? And then the more you help these brands, the more they're going to help you. And, I'm sure we acquired Hoonigan about 1.5 years ago. And that was kind of to control our own media, as well as provide the people we sponsor with a media outlet where we can help them grow their brand as well. So, I mean, that's really where we're focused. As for the Dirt Life Show, it's a great show, right? And it gets the really hardcore, the core of kind of the off-road scene. That's what they pay attention to. And so it's always important to speak to the core and never lose sight of the people that helped you build your brands. But then you've got to focus on how to grow those brands and reach people that don't already know about you.
I like what you said. I did not know only 3% of cars on the road have custom wheels. So, the old saying, a rising tide rises all ships. It reminds me of the wine industry. When Trader Joe's started selling $1.99 2-buck chuck, it was called. People thought, oh, geez, this is going to kill the wine industry because wine is so cheap. Actually, it created new wine drinkers, and it elevated all the brands, and the entire wine industry took off. So by creating more demand for the industry, not just the product, it rises the tide for everybody. And I think Wheel Pros, is the biggest wheel brand in the world. So I can see whether you would benefit when the industry grows.
Yeah, I mean, right now, we've got 50 plus brands, and we command almost 60% of the aftermarket wheel industry in North America. And so, like I said, we're not trying to take, customers from our competitors. We're really trying to grow the market and maintain our market share.
What can racers on the call do to help you grow that market share and grow the market itself? I mean,
like I said, it's what you're doing off the track, right? Like, make sure you have if we sponsor you, you better have our wheels on your personal vehicle that you drive every day. When you go to dinner somewhere nice and you park at valet, talk to the valet about the wheels you have and how you like them, and speak to people, authentically and be genuine about it. That's really where it is. There's so much noise on the track or at an event that it's hard to really make a big difference there. But I will tell you, there is something that racers really can do on race day. Is you're in this life, you also see the up and coming people, right? And so everybody there racing needs wheels to race, right? If we're talking about off-road racing, they need beadlocks. And if they don't have a sponsor, they're paying for those wheels. And so go and cultivate these guys that are just coming into it and maybe don't have a sponsor, don't have anybody supporting them. We don't offer a lot of, monetary compensation to a lot of our racer range, but we do offer product to a big range of people, right? And so I think going and as a racer, bringing new and upcoming guys to me or to your sponsors and saying, hey, this guy's just getting into it. He's making a bunch of noise. Bringing and growing your team and kind of like creating this like cartel of like your group is really powerful. And that's where sponsors, especially myself, find value in that, because I'm not at the races every weekend. I don't see all this stuff.